Hello, everybody. So lovely to see all of your beautiful faces today. Welcome to The Price is Right. Um, this is just as our terms. This is my first time doing something like this, and I wouldn't trust a surgeon saying that, but I think we should be fine together. Anyway, I work for a company called Game Drive. Game Drive specializes in game marketing, from trailer making to publishing to PR to all kinds of things. We work with a lot of cool projects, World War I game series, We Were Here series. Recently got to work with Player Unknown Productions on the Prologue Go Way Back. We worked with Fun Selector Labs, Tops PR Games, and many, many more exciting projects. And by working with this company, I've worked with them for like 6 years or so. I got to work on a lot of cool projects, meet a lot of cool people, and see a lot of cool data. Unfortunately, I can't just share the data sets, so you'll have to rely on my experience. So, I had the idea for this talk probably somewhere last year when Steam just started adding in new festivals and new things, new visibility opportunities. And then this year, I came across this headline. And I thought this is a perfect time to do my talk at INDIGO. Jumping ahead, I want to say the situation is not as dire as the article might make it seem. Yes, the seasonal sales don't perform as well, but there are other reasons for it. And today we're going to jump into those reasons. We're going to talk what are the discounts and why are we even discounting. So, as a game developer, I know there's a lot of things on your mind apart from game developing that go along with releasing game and marketing it. And I would argue that your sales strategy would be influencing all of these things in some way. I'm not going to focus on every one of those particular aspects today. Today I have 3 main topics and areas of focus. We're going to talk a little bit about the market conditions and the existing research. We're going to talk a little bit about psychology, the discounting psychology, and some fun facts about that. And finally, we're going to look at the examples of discounts and strategies and things you can implement for your game. So first of all, the market. I hope that before your game release, after, during your game release, you know what the market conditions are and you look into the best days and the best places to release. But a few key points. First, the median player buys around 4 games on Steam and plays around 4 games as well per year. In 2023, according to Matthew Ball's research, only 6.5% of playtime was given to new games, which doesn't count all the FIFAs, all the Maddens, but it means that the war for users' attention is as high as ever. It is very hard to get your game in front of people, and you gotta choose and use all of the avenues that are available to you. According to Steam themselves, in 2024, it was their biggest year for the seasonal sales and for revenue gathered from the Steam general game sales. But there is an easy explanation to it, because in 2024, there is also a record number of games releasing on Steam. So the more games released, the more players come, the more games are bought, but it doesn't translate to a higher sale numbers for individual games, unfortunately. According to Tyler Rong, individual game sales are significantly more impactful than global sales. The explanation, again, is pretty easy. On the individual game sales, you don't have as much competition as you have during the seasonal sale. On summer sale, everybody is discounting. So during your individual sale, you have more options and less competition to promote your game. Next, according to Simon from the Game Discovery Co., 14-day sale can generate more revenue than a 7-day sale. However, these numbers are not explained very well in his research. We are not sure how the long tail of the sales is working. So you not only look at how the sale performs themselves, and you look at how the impact of the sales is on your game. Also, according to him, many bigger publishers use discount maximizing strategy, which means to be in discount as long as possible, as many times per year as possible. And finally, based on the e-commerce research, most of the products that you buy online have the sweet spot at around 40 to 50% discount. And it also translates to game and software sales, because somewhere in your game cycle, it is a sweet spot where people are still hyped for your game, they're still willing to buy it, but they're getting an incredible offer, and it's easy to market as a half off. All right, this is the market conditions. Now, let's talk a little bit about psychology of discounting itself. Most of these you know intuitively, but it's nice to put them in the writing. First of all, discount pricing increases perceived user value and buying intention. This just means that when a user sees a game on sale, there is more motivation to buy it right there, right now, and it feels like it's a better investment than just buying a game at any other point. High discounts might lower the perceived value of the product both standalone and in bundles, which means do not discount your game from 20% to straight up to an 80%, and do not participate in those bundles that are 50 or 60% off, because it feels like you're just putting your game for grabs as it doesn't hold any value. Right. Well, bundles are usually associated with great value. Too many of them will be associated with the opposite, which means if you put your game in too many bundles at the same time, it feels like you're just trying to shove it everywhere, trying to sell it in any way possible, again, pushing the value a little bit down. Although Steam addresses it, because you can't see on the store page more than 3 bundles at a time, still be mindful of that and be careful with your bundle scheduling. Next. On Steam, you often see prices like $19.99, $15.99, and stuff like that. Those are called charm pricing. It is widely used both on Steam and on PlayStation, and it's something to keep in mind when you select your price and your discount. It works, and that's why everybody is using it from stores to Steam stores. And while Steam shows both the discount percentage and the price of the game discounted, places like PlayStation and Xbox mostly focus on the price itself. So while on Steam you can get away with, while on consoles you can get away with having 34% discount if it brings your game to $9.99. It looks still pretty and wonderful. On Steam you might want to think a little bit, oh, maybe I should go to 50% instead of 52, because 50 is just a much easier sell. It's a much easier marketing gimmick as well. Now, finally, we're going to discounts. Why do we even do discounts? I want to explain this with the example of a game called Machinarium. The game recently the top graph is the sales and the sale percentages, the bottom graph is the CCU of the game. As we can see, the game just went on sale, and they also had a daily deal. It is incredibly popular, and they got a lot of visibility through the whole Steam store page, which in turn increased their numbers to the peak of this year and even the last year. So we do discounts for visibility purpose, to increase our revenue, and to get your game in front of as many eyes as possible. Next, I want to give you a little PSA. When you do plan your sales, think that bundle discount stack. That means if you're discounting your game at 70% and it's in the bundle, it will also add the bundle percentage on top of that. If, for example, if you discount all of your games in one bundle during the seasonal sale, you might want to up the bundle discount percentage itself so you can get back some of the revenue and not give the biggest discount possible. But this is just one of the strategies. So there are 3 main types of Steam discounts. One is the launch discount. Second is Steam discounts. Those are mostly Steam curated. And finally, custom discounts. And you can do those yourself at any point. We're going to start with the launch discount. It's probably the most interesting. According to research by Gamalytic, early access wishlist conversion is much lower than full release. And it doesn't depend on what launch discount you put for the game itself. It's just people are not ready to invest into early access, and they're not buying the game at any point. No amount of launch discount is going to persuade them to buy it at that point. They also mentioned that releasing a game with a discount puts an expectation that it will be discounted further, which is true, but at the same time, everybody discounts, so it's not a big problem. Everybody's discounting, it's just you have to make sure it's attractive enough for the players at that point in the game life cycle. When I looked into our own data, we did not see any correlation between the percentage of the launch discount and the successful launch. So whatever you feel comfortable with, you choose that discount. If you don't feel comfortable giving discount, don't do that. Again, from our own data, we had a game, pretty successful launch at 10%. And with this discount, we converted 13% of all of the wishlisters that the game had. And these 13% amounted to 37% of all the units sold. So while it is good to have launch discount, nothing beats wishlist conversion and the marketing actions that you do before your game goes into launch discount. Next, a few words about Steam discounts. Those are mostly curated by Steam. Those are also the most desirable spots that you can get, as they appear at the very homepage, and you sometimes get the news pop-up, getting your game into as many eyeballs as possible. But, as I said, these are Steam curated, so you need to contact Steam through the support form, and you have more chances to get one of these spots, either if you have an update or you have a big marketing beat upcoming. You have to explain it to them and convince that your game is worth putting on those spots. Steam likes to put the games that are already popular in those spots because they want to increase those sales for your platform, but there is a chance, you never know until you try. And finally, custom discounts. We have week-long discounts, we have custom that you just put yourself, and third-party events. Week-long discounts and custom discounts are pretty similar, and through our research, we didn't find much difference in visibility or in revenue or in sales. But with custom discounts, you do have more flexibility. You have control over at what time your sale starts, how long it goes, while week-long is only for a week-long. So I do recommend custom discounts, but if week-longs are easier for you, then they're just easier. They still perform well as the custom discount. In third-party events, you sometimes need to apply to them, or sometimes they come to you asking to put your game into their sale. You have to know those. It's not provided by Steam. It's usually networking or some news online. And with seasonal sales, those are slightly special sales. They don't share the same cooldown, and they're available for everybody, every game that has ever been released on Steam. So there is a huge competition because everybody wants to be on the sale. Discounts come with rules, unfortunately. You need 30 days between the end of one discount and the start of the other discount. The main rules for the percentages are that the minimum is 10% on Steam and the maximum is 95%. It is slightly different for the launch discount. I think that one maximum is 40%. And if your game is too cheap at 95% in some regions, Steam will just not allow you to put 95%, but you will figure it out. It will show you an error. The minimum amount of days you can be in discount is 1 day, and the maximum is 14 days. For launch discount, it's minimum 7 days, maximum 14 days as well. And some people don't know that Steam sends notifications to your wishlisters whenever your game goes on sale below 20%, 20 or below 20%. And this is sent every 14 days per user per game. Yeah, so utilize those notifications, think about them, and you can see the conversion value in the backend. Let's look at a few very common discounting strategies and discuss what is the best for your game. First, very easy, no discounts. But you have to have an exceptional game for this. In this example, we see the game called Factorio, notoriously popular, always on everyone's mind, and they can afford not to have discounts, but not many other developers can. Second example of a strategy is a low price and low discount. In this example, we see buckshot roulette. The game goes for around $5, I think, and they're not doing any crazy 60% discounts. They're doing around 20% discount to A, get into people's emails, B, get on the store page, and C, still get some revenue from their own game. Next example is higher price and higher discount. In this example, we see a game called Stacklands. They have increased their price, but when they offer the discount is still higher than the discounts they offered before. So they still get more revenue by offering lower discounts. Okay, and the final is the optimized strategy, or the ladder strategy, because you just go down the ladder. In this example, we see a game called A Short Hike. It starts with a launch discount, and then it slowly goes down from 20 to 25 to 30. It gives you a lot of room for experimentation, whether 20 works better for you or 25 works better for you, whether 30 is good or you need to quickly go to 40%. But for this strategy, you also need some data for comparison. I suggest some half a year of sale results to compare to itself to sale, and see where you can optimize going further. Do you need to stay on the same level or go down? And finally, with this strategy, I suggest using the new lows in discounts. For example, for the first time, our game is 40% discount, and we have this cool campaign beat or an update coming on. Then the game sale will increase as well. Now, two tips that I want to leave before the presentation is over. First, connecting custom sale to seasonal sales shows good results. As I mentioned, seasonal sales don't share, I hope I mentioned it, they don't share the same cooldown as your custom sales. You can participate in those sales at any point, apart from the launch discount, but that's a different story. So when you connect your custom sale to a seasonal sale, there is a chance that you can be on sale for around 28 days, if it's in the summer, which is really long time, and it still brings your revenue up. And most likely, you will have much less competition before and after seasonal sale, so you will have more eyes on your game. You can participate in most Steam sales and third-party events with a custom discount. For example, if you have an event from Tuesday till Thursday, you can create your own custom discount from Monday till Friday. You will still be a part of this event. You will get all the featuring, but now your discount is longer, and you get more revenue that way. So think about that. In conclusion, I want to leave you with a little checklist of the things you can do to make sure that your sales strategy is optimized. And don't forget, you can always use such tools as SteamDB, XB deals for Xbox sales, PS deals for PlayStation sales, and Deco deals for Nintendo sales. There is a lot of good information online, so I hope you find it. Thank you, everybody, for your time. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Cool. There's one question over there. Where's the mic? Another mic. I'll take this one first. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for the talk. You were mentioning you need to convince Steam for the curated discounts, like the daily deal and so on. Should you always apply for those whenever you have the opportunity, like with every single big update, or can you like overdo it and annoy them, so to speak?
Yeah, you can overdo it. I think they try to feature you once every half a year, but also try to do it in a more respectful way. Like, first of all, once every half a year, don't try to push it, don't try to convince them that it's needed more than it does. And try to schedule it together with a bigger update that you think is going to be more interesting to Steam and to the players themselves.
And more chance of success, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Cool. One here.
He's first.
You'll be next.
Hello. Yeah. Hi, I'm Fabrizio. What's your take on? I guess you can call them thematic sales? Like, I'm about to launch a small horror game, and of course, I'm thinking Halloween. Do you think like discounting in combination with a period like that works good, or is it better since the period is already giving traction to this? In that period, do not discount.
I would say that you still can discount, and having an event, especially together as a Halloween event, will give you more visibility during that time. So it's not just that your game is discounted somewhere in the store, it's collected in the event and all the games are under that event. So it's a bit more attractive and it brings a bit more visibility to your event and the games that are in that event.
If it's discounted as well.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Hi, thank you. I was just wondering, like, are there different discount strategies for different regions? Like, is it smarter to do certain discounts when your game is more marketed to America or Europe or China or anything of the like?
Most of the time that's a good question. Most of the time the sales are global, they're not region discriminatory, apart from Nintendo, of course. They're always special. So, not really. Well, you can think about different events happening in those countries. For example, in China, they have a Singles Day, which is really big and popular, and a lot of games go on discount during that period. So you want to, if your game is popular in China, you want to be on discount during that time as well. Or in America, Thanksgiving sale, which is not really a thing in other countries, but you still sometimes want to be during that time in the sale. So it does and it doesn't.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so what's your take on sales or discounts for in-game assets, like coins or whatnot?
Unfortunately, I didn't have much experience working with the in-game monetary things and mobile gaming. I think those are mostly not true because it's a virtual currency. Yeah, it's still good and still people will buy it. That's it.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
You just saw me. I'm not the Steam expert, but my question is here. Like, for example, for consoles, it's usually a good strategy to have like different bundles because the title is like bundles. They do have different cooldowns. Is this the same for the Steam, or like basically if you put the base game to the discount, the bundles also will go on the same cooldown or not?
No, the bundles on Steam are configured slightly different. They don't get the same visibility and they're not a separate package. They are also rarely featured on the Steam store page. They're mostly on your own Steam place. And when you discount a game on Steam, if you have many editions like base game, deluxe edition, and everything, you can play around with having one at the time in different periods to have always something on sale. But the notifications for the wishlisters will only be sent for the base game. And that's the main difference.
And so, like, if you're playing, like, put in the different bundles in the discount, so will they get the notification for the discount, or
for the
not?
bundle? No, not really. You only get notification for the base game that you wishlisted. So the bundles just don't have the same functionality, and they're not as the same product package that you can discount at any point.
Gotcha. Thank you.
We have room for a couple more questions. I think there's one over there, and second one over here.
You mentioned that a high discount lowers the perceived value of the product. Do you have any information about how a prolonged discount also might affect value of the product?
While it is a reasonable question, Oftentimes Steam doesn't, if you, for example, connect the two sales together to be for like 20 days in sale, Steam itself doesn't show it. It shows, oh, the discount ends in like 5 hours, and then the next day the new discount starts. So it doesn't exactly feel like it's devaluing, because it feels like it's on a same timeline. Yeah, and I still think that because of the way the cooldowns are set up, there is still room for this value to grow and not to be too devalued quickly.
Cool, great. One more question, and then we'll round up.
Hey, thanks for the talk. I was wondering, you showed the example of Stacklands, and they seem to have raised their base price.
Yeah.
What is your take on like doing that type of stuff, or how like some games release for free and then afterwards they like bump up the price or whatever, like for like a weekend for free or whatever? What's your take on that type of marketing or like that type of strategy?
If it's justified, it's great, because if you added a lot of updates, if you've been working on your game constantly, I think it is a good thing, and I don't think many will be upset about this. The recent example that we also was Abiotic Factory, I think. There's approaching their 1.0 release, so going from early access, and they made a whole video, the whole blog post about increasing their price, but just because they've been working on the game for 2 years, constant updates and constantly supporting it. And because they also gave such a heads up to the players, everybody was happy with it.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Alisa.
Thank you.
Where can they find you?
Please don't look for me.